Black folk. What do you think is worth more to black folk? A mobile or a Grammy? To get validation from your own or validation from outside?
New episode featuring myself, Wes Gabriel. Short episode today. Please like, share, subscribe before you watch this. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Bro, life has been stressful, man.
Stressful? What is that? What's stressing you? What's stressful? Life is doing what life does, man.
Bro, my aunt is like my mum part two. I spent more of my life with my aunt than my mum.
Yeah.
You get me? So like seeing all my cousins in my pain and it's not nice, innit? You know, because now the only difference compared to last time was when my mum passed. My aunt said to me, "Get yourself back to being yourself. Don't slow down." You get me? So like she'd already told me before, don't slow down. You know what I mean? Don't fall into that mind frame of getting depressed. That's why you lot thinking, right, I've been doing enjoyment, but it's not even that I've been doing any sort of enjoyment. I'm just mentally trying to keep myself in the happy, you get what I'm saying? In the happier state of mind. So in the past week, like last week when you come and you filmed the last episode, I was working, went to the venue, dropped bits. I could have made it back, but I was just, you know what I mean? I had to do a couple little things before I got back. Then, like I just been focused on training, playing ball, doing all the little things that keep me happy. Watching anime, watching basketball, everything that keeps me happy, just to keep me from thinking about everything bad. You get me? Because like last week Thursday, we was all there just looking at a dead body. But the only good thing was my aunt looked like she was smiling. It's weird, like, you know, like the body's there, but you can see that like she didn't look sad. You know what I mean? Like if you looked at her facial features, there was this sort of like a grin, and I kind of felt in a way that I said to my cousin, I was like, right, we can't be selfish and say, why did you leave us? If you get what I mean? Because she was going through pain, and you could see it over months, and it's fucked because she beat like cancer, she beat a tumor she had like time ago. She had a diabetic, had a colostomy bag and all of that, and to see her fight through everything, then what triggered everything that's happened over like last year was she fell. So she fell at home, broke her leg, and after she broke her leg, it just seems like one thing went wrong, two things went wrong, three things went wrong, and this is just from a fall. So it's a thing that it makes you think like, keep working on it, keep your body strong, because one little thing when you're older could.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
Life is fragile, isn't it?
Life is proper fragile. So like even certain times when I'm in the gym now, I'm like, right, you're not even training just to look good and look on point, and the man them I think, when I'm posting them dumb mirror vids and pics.
The first straps.
Yeah. That I'm just literally.
I know it's a serious topic, but I've been meaning to mention that for a while. Sorry about that. Sorry.
But the joke thing is I see pussy on mouth when I posted one the other day, and then the last gracious came. I started laughing. I said, right, everyone's doing it now. Everyone's waiting for Gabs anyway. But seeing all of that now, I'm just like, right, just keep training, because as we know, skeletal muscle, the older you get, the more fragile your body's gonna get.
Yeah.
So if you keep training and you build that solid base and foundation,
You keep yourself young.
there you go, and you'll be able to take more impact when you're older. So if you fall, you get what I'm saying?
A lot of people train for aesthetics, though.
A lot of people train for aesthetics.
They train for validation.
Bro, I'm like,
Why do you think they do that?
I'm like 26 years in with training, so it's gone beyond that. Like even the other day.
Validation, what do you mean, sorry?
Validation, isn't it? So you want to be validated. You want to be respected by your peers. You want people to look at you and be like, yeah, like you're one of us.
I used to train for that. I'm not gonna sit and pretend.
Yeah.
I used to do the image
Chest
workout, upper chest and biceps.
I got videos on my Facebook of you.
Yeah, that's what I used to train.
Banging chest.
That's what I used to train. People knew me as an upper chest man. That's what I used to train, because I used to wear V-neck t-shirts, and you could see the upper chest at that part. And then obviously when you're wearing a tight t-shirt, you can see the biceps. I never used to do cardio legs. No, never. It was only for aesthetics, and I think now I train more to keep fit and healthy. I was watching one podcast the other day where some doctor was talking about how we got some 50-year-olds to start doing 20 minutes of walking every day, and he said the look of their heart after, I think it was a few months, I think it was either a few months or a year, it showed that they had basically reversed their heart by 20 years. So it's almost like they had the heart of a 30-year-old just from doing 20 minutes of walking. And I think a lot of people are not active. You know, just going for a walk, just 20 minutes of walking every day, just to get your heart racing, blood flowing, your feet moving up and down. Some of us just literally drive to work, drive home, sit on the couch, and it adds up. And I don't think we ever get, I don't want to say, do we ever get used to death?
No, you can never prepare for it.
You never prepare for it.
It's one thing which is inevitable, is death. And what is annoying, I don't know if I'm using the right word, is that when someone passes, we always use that as a fuel to do better and live like we don't have a tomorrow, but then it fizzles out. I don't know how fickle our brains are, but you know, we think about it for the moment, and then we go back or resort back to type, which is just what we do. You know, and death is a hard pill to swallow. And I think one thing no one ever prepares us for is seeing our parents grow old. That's one thing. It's definitely difficult seeing your mum or your dad being very strong and all of a sudden they're gone, or you can beat them up. It's sorry. Them ones like got me and mum a little cheeky dig in the rib cage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, give me that little cheeky one.
I'm Nigerian handman, my bloodline right now still.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Give that little cheeky. You know what it does? Give me a little cheeky one in the rib as well. Get me, you didn't get me the scale electrics like that. But no, you don't ever get prepared for death, and I always say that even myself now, I'm preparing to get to the age of 60. I think retirement is 67, but they're trying to increase it now, I believe, to 71.
I think they have increased it.
Is it 71 now, something
Yeah.
they said? Because they need us to work longer.
It's madness. Bro, you know
Work till
mad as
71.
well, yeah?
I'm tired already!
Bro,
I'm tired now!
you're thinking of it, it's mad.
Wait, remember, don't want to work for another 31, 32 years.
I checked my pension the other day. It was $8 a month.
That's what you'll be getting
That's
if you
what I
retire.
get when I retire. Yeah, at 71. Yeah.
Now, and this is why people think it's a joke when I say I'm preparing now.
In that time, it's not going to pay rent.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah,
You wouldn't even.
Boy, by the time that comes in 40 years, that's not even going to pay your insurance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nothing.
We're going to get them in American prices monthly.
And it's important to do enjoyment, but I'm not going to say that I'm worried, but I'm worried. Because by the time man hits 70, and I say this, even the last episode talking about property, if by 70 you don't have a property owned outright, which means you're not paying any rent, what's that £800 going to do for you?
Nothing.
But you know what's mad here? That's why, have you clocked it? That's why a lot of aunties and uncles, the moment they get to pensionable age, they just dust straight back to Nigeria. Yeah, because that's the only way that money is going to stretch for them. You get what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people end up building houses back home, because they just know that, right, on 8 bills. But even older British lot, that's why a lot of people move into other parts of Europe where they can get cheaper houses, and because they've already clocked onto the game and said,
they move to like third world countries like Birmingham. It's mad. It's mad. Like you just got. Oh, sorry. It's my Tourette's.
Hey, Javon!
Sorry, my Tourette's.
Yes, he's sending.
But no, but all jokes aside though,
Where's Birmingham?
all of you guys who are hitting mid 30s, late 30s, you've got to buck up all your ideas from now, because you think about how you're already halfway through. You're 35. You think of it now. You double that again, another 35. You're done. No, but people don't realize how serious it is. A lot of our parents, or not a lot of parents, or a lot of Nigerian parents, or parents who came in this country in a Bandulu way, a lot of them didn't work on their NI numbers. They don't have no pension. A lot of people right now who are in their 40s are looking after their parents because their parents have no pensions. And we're going to grow old and have to rely on our kids. And God forbid we didn't look after our kids. They start giving us punches in the ribs. It's peak. But I don't know whether we ever prepare for death though. And that's, I think,
bro, the last
I don't think we could ever prepare for it.
The last 3 times I've been to Nigeria, so I guess I'm going probably like in the next month and a bit. So 3 out of 4 times I've been to Nigeria is for funerals. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? One was a wedding, but I'm trying to go more often, but I need to break out of the chain of only going there when it's, you know what I mean, something that's wrong. When I go this time after the funeral, I'm gonna try and look for land again, because I sold what I had during COVID. So I had like foundation and all that, but it was in an area where I knew that even if I get older and move there, that I wasn't gonna live in. So I need to find in a new area now and just, bro, build a backup just in case, because that 8 bills a month for yeah, it's not the one still, yeah. And if that 8 bills a month becomes the thing, at least I know. Unfortunately, right now the naira is doing very, very badly, but £1 is 1,800.
Yeah, forget the Nigerian. The naira is just a joke, man.
Why don't you just become a rapper, man?
Huh?
Just become a rapper, man.
At my age.
Win a mobile. Yeah, you'd be different, innit? Like Future, innit?
Well, Flow down won a Grammy.
Yeah, Flow down won a Grammy.
You know, everyone's
big up the big Flow down.
And the funny thing is that they'll tell us that we shouldn't be rapping anymore if you hit 40 or hit whatever. Look at Flow down winning a Grammy. Yeah. So all you girls that have got boyfriends, put their link to the mixtape in your bio. If your girlfriend doesn't have the link to your mixtape in your bio, she does not love you. Find a new one. I'm telling you. Look at them now. Everyone's dissing. You can't rap at 37. You can't rap at 40. Look at Flow down. Look at Flow down. He's won a Grammy. But my question now is this: what do you think is worth more? And I'm going to talk about black folk. What do you think is worth more to black folk, a mobile or a Grammy? To get validation from your own or validation from outside?
Outside.
The Americans today were talking about BET versus Grammy on Instagram, and I was just scrolling through the comments on Spiritual Word, and I just thought to myself, you know, it's mad here how everyone wants to fit in so much into that box. Then someone wrote, people from other cultures and that, they don't care if they got BET or mobile. You know what I mean? They don't care for our thing. They don't even pay attention to our thing. So I'm thinking, right, why do we care so much when we don't win?
Is it because other people's music isn't generally part of pop culture? Why they don't care? So let's think of I don't know. Let's say Sinbad the Sailor. Let's say he's a Bangor artist. Yeah. Now, what are you laughing for?
God. Why did you rip me out?
What you laughing about the camera?
You said Sinbad the Sailor, bro. Sinbad the Sailor. You can't think of no other names. You don't know any other names.
Well, just aside though, I love Bangor movies, yeah. The special effects and that they do in those movies, yeah.
Bro, especially when it's the martial art ones.
See, these finest.
Hey, when you post the martial art ones.
It's too funny. Someone will shoot a bullet, yeah, and the guy will grab it. And it will spit back out and spit bullets out.
Bro, I saw a motorbike coming at a man went, kicked it, pow! I said, wow. I said, even Goku ain't done that.
But I think it's fair to say that Bangor music generally is not pop culture. Like, we've had 1 or 2 people break through. I think Tion Wayne did a collab one time with a gentleman, I think, that passed away. Yeah, so we've had one or two, you know, songs from those parts of the world come through, but I don't think as whatever you want to classify as black music is very popular. Afrobeats is now popular music. Hip hop has been popular for years. I know you might say that hip hop is not black music because there were white rappers, but predominantly I think it's fair to say it is. But I believe that this is the sad part, is that and I'm going to generalize and say, why do you think black artists seek the validation more outside than inside? And one thing I've realized is that once black artists make it, generally speaking, they snub the events that they started at.
Yeah.
So things like the Mobos, they won't go anymore.
It's money, innit?
And what annoys me is that they'll win the award, and then they're, hi, sorry, I'm in Cuba, like, I'm on holiday, yeah, I couldn't make it, like, but yeah, thank you for the award, thanks for coming.
You knew about it from like 8 months ago, you know?
But I don't know the politics. So maybe there was politics behind it, I don't know why.
No, actually, I heard labels have to pay.
I know there's politics sometimes. Yeah.
Labels have to pay for tables and all of that. But so it's like in their head.
I wonder if they'll miss a Brits or miss a Grammy. I wonder if these black artists, if they're up for a Grammy, whether they would miss it.
I don't think so.
I don't think they would. And this is the thing, is that why do we seek validation so much from outside over inside? In the same way, gone.
I think it's because
or is it validation, or is it just being okay? Is it validation, or is it I'm working just as hard as Karen? I'm selling just as many units as Karen. Why can't I be acknowledged by that academy? What do you think it is?
There's a lot of components to it, but I feel like it's have you ever acted like you don't like a girl so she likes you?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Like you play. If you're on the outside the club, you want to get in. It's like a FOMO thing. It's like, why can't I be part of this club? And I feel like another side of it is the money element. I think a lot of the times when artists in this country they make it, they've either done so abroad or they've managed to secure that white audience in the UK. And I kind of think that they use the culture element and stuff as a stepping stone to kind of bridge the gap between being no one to get into the garage tunes and do you know what I mean? Because as an example, we'll put AJ Tracy. When he I would say he arrived and he made it was when he jumped from like making like grime music and stuff into like Ladbroke Grove, and then now he's performing in XYZ places and getting invited to, you know, it's more palatable to more people, I think, as well.
But my thing is, why the validation? And this is the part where I think should we be seeking validation more from the outside than within? Or is it a case of that, no, my music transcends past my culture, so therefore why can't I get the accolades from outside? But my only problem is, it seems like we're craving it. In the same way, it seems like we crave entrance into venues like District, venues like Liberty, venues like Tape. Like, I always wonder, but the argument again is...
7 bills for 70 CL of...
But why do we seek it, and is there anything wrong in wanting to be in those spaces? That's the question. Is there anything wrong?
No, nothing wrong with wanting to be in those spaces, but it's like, come on, man. Like, what makes me laugh is you might have an event now, tomorrow, and you might say tickets are like £20-30. A man's gonna phone you and say, "Raw Gabs, what? Can't you discount that for me or get me and my lot for free?"
I think the problem is that he can phone Gabriel. I think that's a problem.
Yeah,
because you've got familiarity.
Yeah,
I think
the same man. Yeah, would be coming to the bar trying to ask discount and go to these dusty venues and pay 7-8 bills
because they don't know the promoter or the owner
for the same. You know what I mean? Because they want 5 men to come and do hey.
But I think there is a part, and I'm going to generalize. I think there is a part of us that, not say we seek that validation, but we want to be acknowledged. So, for instance, I always make a point that I remember. One time I spoke at an event, and people in my DM saying, "Oh, you've made it." And this event was predominantly white. Is it actually wrong for someone to see me as a young black man speaking to an audience of white people and not be like, "Well done, like this is great"? Is it wrong for someone to look at that and be like, "Okay, you've transcended and to clap for me"? Is it wrong for me to have a concert as a black artist and then it's full of white people screaming my music? Is it wrong for someone to notice that and say, "Well done, man, raw, like you got white people at your gig"? Damn, is it wrong to say that?
I think it's wrong, but again, I think it's a separation thing because it's like...
But why is it wrong? Because clearly you're doing very well.
Yeah.
Because for you to get a #1 in the UK, I'm going to assume that, I'm going to make a wild assumption that it's not going to only be black people buying your music for you to get a #1. That it's probably going to be the majority of the other 97% of the UK, whether it's Asian, whatever we call them, white. So, or avatar, whatever the colour they are.
Yeah.
Is it wrong to, is it, I feel I'm going to contradict myself. It's not a lie to say someone's doing really well if their concert is full of white people or mixed or predominantly white.
It's not wrong.
It's not obvious that they're doing well.
There's a truth to it because you've expanded outside your circle. If you're a black brother and let's say you're from Croydon or whatever, it's quite likely your friends are going to be black or from wherever, ethnic backgrounds and whatnot. So if you've managed to get a whole concert full of white people, in some way you have made it.
It depends what side of Croydon you live.
So that's true.
So could we argue and say then that it's not saying that. So that person who said to me when I was speaking to a room full of white people, for her to say, "Oh, congratulations, well done, like you're really doing well," she's never said that when I spoke to a room of black people. So is it fair to say that I'm being booked and speaking in an audience full of white people, which isn't the norm? So therefore, is she wrong in suggesting that I'm doing well?
She's not wrong in suggesting you're doing well, but I feel like it's idealism against like just reality, really. like idealistically you like to be in a room full of black people and people say, yeah, do you know what, Gabriel, you're doing well, you fill the room full of people, etc. But that's just not what happens.
So let's say we saw Chiz doing a whole heap of personal training. Let's say he was training a whole heap of white clients all of a sudden. It was just white. That would give the analogy or perception that he's making more money, I believe. In our eyes, when we see a black person training white people, I don't know why we think that. Well, I know why we think it. But how much of it is our problem that we seek the validation?
2014, 2015, my client base was 80% white.
Okay.
And I was making more money then. When I was no, it's the reality.
Oh no, I'm not saying.
But I was based in Clapham, so you know what I mean. And any black people that were there, I didn't get them from the gym. I got them from prior to moving to that gym. You know, so that was in Clapham Junction.
I think there is more money in circulation in other communities in
in
comparison to our own. I feel
and
like
it depends on areas. So like even the other day, someone hit me up and said, their cousin just qualified as a level 4, blah blah blah. They've never PT'd, but they're going into PT, so they've done their free. But instead of going into a gym, they've gone one up and done strength and conditioning level 4. They need help with getting to gyms, and I said to them, alright, there's so much gyms around. They were like, but they want a certain level. I said, mate, just go all the way to central London, and you've got options there like Third Space, you know what I mean, Ultimate Performance, and all those high-end gyms. I'm like, if you're trying to make the real money, and you don't mind being on the train every day and all of that, or long days, just go straight to that. Bypass all the pure gyms and all that.
Build a brand around yourself,
exactly.
Fitness stuff.
Because I said to the same person, I said, for someone like me who was after training people at Kings and smaller local gyms, the reason why I can get away with doing that when I used to PT was because I already have my own network. You get what I'm saying? But if you're a new person and you go to like a pure gym like the one I train at, what might end up happening is they've got already maybe 12 trainers, maybe 15. You're the new guy, you've not PT'd before. You're in an area where there's not as much people that are looking for PTs, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So now you're on the floor hustling, trying to talk to Tom, Dick and Harry. You might even trying to talk to me, and I'm like, nah, I'm already a PT, but I don't PT no more. And now you're disheartened because you're in a gym full of people, but out of 100 people, maybe only one person might want a PT.
It's important to know your audience.
It's important to know your audience. So you don't want to be in an area where the footfall is a lot of people, but no one wants to train. So when I was in Clapham Junction, I remember when I joined that gym, I was the 11th PT. The PT manager was like, oh, we're gonna cap it at 12.
Yeah, they lied.
They lied. It ended up at 25. But I'm lucky because even though I'm kind of antisocial, at the same time, I know how to talk to people. You get what I'm saying? And I know how to move strategic. So, when I first got there now, I would train at certain times because I knew people would be watching. You get what I'm saying? And I knew what made me stand out from everyone else. No offense to other PTs. I was in a way different level shape compared to everyone, so I knew my target audience. I was just like, you know what, seeing as I'm super shredded, I'm built a certain way at the time, and I was competing, let me target when all the men who've got egos are in the gym. So that's when I'm there squatting 3 plates for 15, and you get what I'm saying, garnering attention and going and talking to people, then finding my audience, you know. So like I said, Clapham Junction, there's money there. You've got people from over the water that live like Chelsea and that they might take overhead to work. You know what I'm saying? So you've got different people, Battersea, all of that. They all come to the same stop, and the gym was next to the train station. So I knew when I moved there, the reason why I moved there. So if you're going to be a PT or anything like that, just skip all the local ends gyms. Just go to where the money is at. Like if I jump back into it now, for instance, Third Space, they opened in Wimbledon. Getting there before, you know what I mean, while it's still growing, because you know if someone comes in there and you said I'm charging £80 an hour, they're not gonna flinch because it's that crowd.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to a local gym and you told someone £30 an hour,
Yeah, it's a myth, and
It's
they
a
won't
myth.
turn up.
and then and then they'll be trying to haggle you down to £20-25. But in those gyms over there, they're not gonna flinch. They're gonna be
It's a different mentality, innit?
yeah.
It's a different
And
mentality.
even also in that space up in like Clapham, all of that, I had clients that their workplace used to like give them like £300 a month towards.
Oh yeah, your health and wellness and
There you
stuff
go.
like that.
So-
yeah.
I knew instantly. They were like, oh yeah, this is what.
It's an abundance. They spend it, they don't feel it, but
They don't
that
feel
money is money to you.
So the prices I had at that time.
But that's what I was
Yeah,
saying
right.
about this. There's
just
not
top
as
up.
much money in circulation in certain areas in certain communities as
Exactly.
others. So
Exactly.
when we're speaking about like when you when you get the white people on board, there's money there. There's more money there, and I understand that.
And they recommend their friends up them sides as well. So sometimes a lot of my clients would be like, if I had someone at 5, the client at 6 and the client at 7 were all brethrens.
There's less of the crab in the bucket
But is
mentality.
it fair to say that it's more of a class thing
It's
than
a
a race
class
thing?
thing.
But there's obviously tends to be more people with money in that
But remember, it goes
set of people.
But it goes back.
Yeah,
outset.
yeah,
It
for
goes
sure.
back.
Yeah.
It goes back. You could relate it back to what you were saying about earlier. A lot of people in our generation are their parents' pension,
Yeah.
whereas from them it's the reverse. Where
Yeah.
a lot of them, I remember talking to clients and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, my dad left this house to me in this area, and him and my mum fucked off to the country."
I used to get angry
And I'm like,
when I heard stuff
it
like that.
must be nice.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
My neighbour's a prime example of that, where his car, remember the old car, the red one, it didn't meet ULEZ standard. His dad phoned him and said, "Oh yeah, come and grab my car."
Yeah.
I said, "Rah."
It's a different way of
I said,
life, man.
"How old are you?" "You're 58. And your dad's like, "Come and grab my car." He
Yeah.
goes, "Yeah, they're the 90s anyway, and they don't really do much. They just walk to the shop now and
Yeah.
all of that." I said, it must be nice. And when they pass, he's got a second house now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's interesting. I think we all. I'm gonna say I think not say we all, but I think we definitely do seek that validation from outside, just to say okay, they accept us too, and it's bad because I think you even find that when it comes to dating, sometimes you find some people date out whatever the race is, they date outside of the race to seek that validation. You know, I've spoken to certain demographics of men, and some of them date outside of their race, clearly because they want to be seen as more palatable and more acceptable to the other side, especially corporate wise. So
Okay.
for instance, you know when you walk into the corporate environment holding your Jane,
Yeah.
you know it's like okay, it's like he's one of us, like he's cool. And it's almost some guys have told me that well, when I'm having a conversation, it alludes to the fact that they want to show them that I can get your woman too, which is a bit warped. I think it's a bit warped.
I don't know
A little bit.
because again, there's an element of familiarity there where if you walk into that corporate environment again and you're let's say with a woman of a certain color or tone of complexion and the rest of the room is like that, it's like there's less of the unknown, if that makes sense. Like people fear what they don't know. So in many ways, when you see, for example, like when they see a black boy walking down the street, for example, they might be like, "Oh, I'm not familiar with that because that's not what I've grown up around." So it makes me nervous, uneasy. But if a white person walks down the street, for example, and they're also white, there's more of a relaxed nature. If that makes sense.
Would you see me as odd if I said to you that I wouldn't date or I don't date European women? Would you see it
No,
as
it's your
odd if
preference.
if I completely ruled them out?
It's your preference, isn't it?
Would you see it as odd if I completely ruled out black women?
It's your preference. It'd be interesting because more so like you don't
Because I know people that will
deal with people
specifically
in your culture.
only deal with women outside of the culture. I know 1 or 2 black guys who they will try and say it's just by chance, but they've consistently been with, say, Caucasian women, European women, white women, and I wonder whether it's wrong to date outside of your race to try and get a leg up. Is that wrong?
You're being a user.
Yeah, you're being a user.
Yeah, you're being
Is that
a user.
wrong?
Yeah, you're being a user. It's not genuine. If you genuinely like the person, it's different. But if you're using it to,
Get a leg up.
yeah.
It's a business transaction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, is it then? Okay, let me throw another spanner in the work, which I know blatantly happens. Let's say I want a Lewis Hamilton yeah, or I want a Theo Walcott, I specifically date white women to have that. Is there a problem with that? Where I want a mixed race child. Is there a problem with that? So I specifically go and date because it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
I specifically, let's say my plan is I want a Theo Walcott.
Yeah.
And I specifically date white women for that.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. Is there a problem with that?
It's a bit like fetishy, weirdy in my opinion, but again, it does come down to preference.
But is it weird then if I only date black women because I want a black son? I want a son that looks like me.
But then when you put it against that, makes sense.
So
it comes across as equal. I don't think so. I think it does come down to preference. But I do find it interesting that someone would be against dating someone of their own culture, given that that's what they are. Because I would hate to be in a household where I'm not understood.
But then again, I think we had the conversation before. How important is culture? And I think I've learned how important culture is to me because I don't speak Yoruba very well. I can understand it perfectly, but I don't speak it very well. And now, obviously, you can take lessons. So one could argue and say, Gabriel, just go and take lessons. Not saying I'm a bit too busy for that. I ain't gonna do that. Now, let's say I have a family now, big family or whatever. If I decide I'm gonna marry a non-Yoruba woman who doesn't speak Yoruba, how quick does your culture get? And I don't say washed out in a derogatory way.
It does, disappears.
It gets. So, for instance, can you speak your language?
One tinty, small. That's what it means.
You sounded Australian.
That's what the one tinty means, small. But
One tinty, Mike.
But yeah,
What's the take,
I'm as bad as you. And there's a level of Igbo that I can't understand. Like, you know, like when you're in a village and you hear like the locals speaking hard.
Yeah.
Dialect is different state to state. So if it's someone from like Imo, I could pick up because I'm from Imo. But Anambra, it takes me longer. I have to break little bits because they might change little words slightly. So in my head, I'm like, I know that what that means, but it's not as fluent as it used to be when I was little.
Okay.
When I was little, because obviously I lived in Nigeria and I went to the village.
Yeah.
More frequent, I could. But when you don't hear it over time as frequent as you used to, it's not as clear no more. You know. So. Yeah, but
so I guess culture doesn't really matter to you. So
no, it does because I've got.
Would you want your children knowing how to cook?
I want my children. I want my children
speak
to be able to
Igbo?
speak about 100%. Like I look all the time online. Like even recently, me and my cousin were talking about it where we're like, Igbo classes will be essential. You know what I mean? Like when they're little, make them at least make sure that we hold on to it because loads of my brethren are Igbo by name, but they can't even understand past hello.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could literally we call it Inglibo, where I could conversate words in Igbo and throw English words in between. So I could do that. And the more I'm around someone that speaks fluent, I start.
It's assimilation. If you want to learn languages and stuff, you get the repetition.
Yeah. So like every time I go to the village, by the time I come back, I'm a bit more.
But you'll lose it.
But I lose it at the same pace.
Languages, you need to maintain them.
There you go. But I definitely 100% want all my children to be able to speak.
You'd have to learn it fluently then. You'd have to learn it fluently.
Yeah, I'd have to learn it with them. I'd have to go to the classes because I feel like if you don't, by the time you're like, most of us have grandkids, we're finished.
Yeah, they won't know anything. Even cooking the food, speaking the language.
We're Nigerian by name and nothing else.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've got loads of brethren who are Igbo by name, and their parents are first gen.
What would you say makes someone? Okay, what would you say makes someone Nigerian? And let's not use the kind of you wherever you say you are. Let's just try and be. I had this conversation with somebody else, as in the other day. I don't want to mention the artist name. I don't want to have issues in the comments. But let's just put it this way. It's long, man. I'm living a very peaceful life right now. So let's say, for instance. So let's say I was born in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But I left there when I was 1, as I did, and now I've lived in the UK for 30 plus odd years. Somebody is not born in the UK, but went to Nigeria when they was 1 and has lived there all their life.
They're more Nigerian than you.
If that person said to me that, Gabriel, I've got a Nigerian passport, okay, I've been here 37 odd years. You've lived in the UK 37 odd years. I am more Nigerian than you.
You can't even argue.
Is that a valid? Would you say that? Would you say they're Nigerian? Okay, first of all, are they Nigerian? Let's say it's an English person, a white person. Is that person Nigerian? Got a Nigerian passport. This person says, I'm Nigerian. I've lived there since I was one.
Thing is,
I'm Nigerian.
With nationality and stuff, it's very political because things can change. Like a country could completely drop off the face of the map tomorrow, and it doesn't exist anymore. So I think what I tend to hang on to is more so where your parents from, or like what their actual, like for example, like my dad's Jamaican, like he was born in Jamaica, born to Jamaican parents. He's Jamaican, so what I would be half Jamaican. With me, as opposed to the whole passport element.
So you're saying more where the parents are from than where you're born, where I'm born as an individual.
But then that's the culture element, because you can kind of like be hollow. You can be like Chiz was saying, like Nigerian by name, but not. You don't have the culture.
Let's flip it around and say this. Let's say you've got two Jamaican parents.
Yeah. They
go to Nigeria and then they end up having their child in Nigeria. And then that child is taken from Nigeria and goes to Jamaica. Would you say that child is Nigerian?
No, I would say they're Jamaican.
Would you say that child is Nigerian or Jamaican?
How long were they in Nigeria?
Literally went there for like a year. So they went there for a year and came straight back. So they was going to relocate there, didn't work out, went back to Jamaica. But the child was born in Nigeria. But literally would not remember anything about Nigeria because at one, you don't remember when you was one. Yeah, so now that child now is in Jamaica.
That Jamaican.
So you would say that child's Nigerian?
Yeah.
But if he grew up in Nigeria, would you say he's Nigerian?
Yeah.
Yeah? Even though both his parents are Jamaican?
Yeah, he would be Nigerian Jamaican.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
okay.
That's the equivalent of us being classed as British Nigerians. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same equivalent.
So they'd be both.
Yeah,
I'd agree with
both.
Yeah. I'd agree
but
with
if they didn't stay long enough to, you know what I mean?
But you say that if it was two Jamaican parents gone to Nigeria to try and relocate, had a baby there, left at one, you wouldn't say that child is Nigerian?
No, they didn't stay long enough to fully assimilate into the culture. But if they were like in the culture deep, like I went to primary school, I went to a private school, and in my school you had men that were from Lebanon, you had English youths, you know what I mean? So you had people from multiple places, you had a couple of Chinese youths, and like it's mad, like when I've been back to Nigeria and I bumped into these men in parties, and like, I know you, but you know what I mean? Then my cousin is like, oh yeah, they went to, but they're more fluent in my language and everything and broken than me, and I'm like, right, you are fully Nige. You've been there all your life.
Let me throw another scenario in. So it's a true story as well. So you've got Nigerian man, you then got a Caribbean woman. It's now time to name the child, okay? And then the Caribbean lady is saying, you know, for job prospects, etc. I don't think it's the right thing to name the first name a Nigerian name. It's better to name it a UK English name. Now,
what you laughing?
And if you read a book called Freakonomics, it will tell you about the trials and tribulations of what they've researched in regards to naming your child. How important just having a name for your child is. Things like names like Bradley, you know, things like these sort of names. People in their psyche will look and be like, okay, let's give him an interview. Now, would you say it's smart to not give your child a African first name? I know African's wide, so let me just say Nigerian first name.
Living in the
like
UK,
say,
yeah?
Let's say like Babatunde.
Yeah, so living in the UK.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah, that's a myth. You're
so would you say that
instant disadvantage, isn't it?
Would you say you're putting your child at disadvantage?
That's the life of Chiz. Swipe over. You saw my cousin change his name. I'm not even going to say which cousin, but you know he's other name.
Would you?
He changed his name by default.
Is it? Now, would you say that would you say my ancestors are rolling in the grave if I decided to change my name by default to make it more palatable?
100%. I think you're denouncing your culture.
So is it the same thing by me saying that I'm not going to give my child a Nigerian first name because of that?
We're having Chisel the second, Chisel the third,
Chisel
Chisel squared.
What do you think? it's a true actual choice. She didn't want the first name.
I think she's right to open the discussion, but I do think that culture has to be considered.
Then don't be with me then. My thing is don't be with me.
Yeah, facts.
Growing up, so on my passport, and you got Baba Tunde. You got Baba, in fact, on the passport. Now, because I was getting picked on in school, they used to say Baba, black sheep, blah blah blah. Excuse the pun. I used my Christian name being Gabriel, which everyone knows me as, is Gabriel. Now,
when you say Christian, I never understood that. Like
so
English
basically
name,
my middle
Christian
name,
name.
like my baptism name, like my Christian name is Gabriel.
So it's part of your name, it's just
Yeah.
in the middle. Okay.
Would I give my child a Nigerian name, first name? And I'm probably going to be a hypocrite. I'd probably give it to them as a middle name, but I probably wouldn't give them a first name as one. So right now I'm going to be a hypocrite. So technically, if that, I don't want to say where she's from, but let's just say the Caribbean lady has said she doesn't want her daughter to have a first name being a Nigerian name. Let me take myself out of it. I probably wouldn't give my child a first name being a Yoruba name. Would you?
Interesting.
Would you?
So you do Chisel the third, knowing that there'd be.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
There's no first.
Sorry.
But another argument is this: if my surname is clearly not an English surname, so the argument could be you trying to put a British first name or a European or more palatable first name as a first name is not going to change anything because your surname is that.
If it's a middle name, you can leave it off the thing, no? You don't have to put that. Just put your first
but
name.
if your surname is that, then technically you can't escape it.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same.
But I guess it's just, and why should I be using the word easier for them? Figure it out, because you lot can pronounce French names, German names, but you can't pronounce a Yoruba name.
They can pronounce Schwarzenegger.
You know what? No, let me take it back actually.
You get me?
I'm gonna rewind back. I'm wrong, because if you can pronounce a Japanese name, you can pronounce a Turkish name, you can pronounce Nicole Swerzinger.
If you can
Why can't you pronounce
Japanese name, you
Minachizo?
can pronounce an Igbo name easy because they sound same on spellings.
If your tongue can twist to pronounce those other names, I remember my French teacher was called Miss Lazinska. Bare Z's and Y's. You can pronounce the Z, Y's and K's, but you can't pronounce a little.
But it's not because they can't pronounce it. That's why
It's ignorance.
It's being lazy, and probably on purpose.
Yep.
It's probably on purpose. Sometimes I look at a name and I'm like, how can you not see that's for Lusho? You're like, Felushu? Is that Felushu? For? You can see it's F-O.
Bro.
You teach us to phonetically pronounce things.
People see my name and call me Chris, and sometimes I just look at them.
That's hilarious.
Where's the R?
That's
It
hilarious.
says ChisoLifts. ChisoLifts. Not Chris. Not Chris Lifts.
Chris Lifts.
ChisoLifts.
But then again, let's be fair. If you look at Chiso spell, if you didn't know Chiso, how would you pronounce it? Chiso? If you had Chiso.
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 Maybe Chiso.
Probably Chiso, yeah.
Yeah, probably Chiso.
Yeah, probably Chiso, yeah.
Which ain't that bad. It's better than Chris. Chris
Where the hell do you get that R from?
Chris is ignorant.
Or maybe they thought it was a typo, you didn't put the R. You know, maybe like
I'm so retarded.
no, maybe
That man's been retarded for years.
When I said Chris, it was like, alright, oh damn, it's done now, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna call him Cheers. Chiso. She doesn't call him Cheers instead of Chris. But I think the naming thing is a very deep conversation because
My kids are alright.
Is it though? Is it?
Okay, I'm gonna give you an insight. So, for instance, when I'm recruiting, it's gonna sound bad. You might call it positive discrimination. You might call it affirmative action. Whatever you want to call it. I'm biased. There are certain names that I see on CVs that I scroll past.
Oh, you scroll past.
Yeah.
Intentionally.
Yes.
So you'd see Bradley Martin and.
No, I'm being honest. As a recruiter, there are certain names that I see on a CV and I don't even click on the application. I just keep scrolling on Indeed. As a recruiter, I do it.
Okay.
As a recruiter, I give preferential treatment to certain people as a recruiter.
Okay. So you see Oladapo, Olatunji, and you'd be like, yeah.
So for instance, I always believe that, and I always talk about, how can I word this now? Got to be very careful. I always believe in nepotism.
Yeah.
And I believe most people practice it. And I believe that I should do it too. That when you're in a position, or a position of what you deem authority or position to change someone's life, I believe that racism to me is not just calling someone the N-word. It's intentionally subjugating someone and intentionally not allowing that person to progress. That's what I call racism. When you've got the the power to let someone succeed, and you say, no, we're not doing it for them people, we're going to do it for them. And I believe that it takes someone like myself or other people in better positions than me to use affirmative action or discriminate positively to give somebody a chance. So sometimes a chance backfires on me, but I believe that for someone to become a manager, for someone to catapult themselves in the corporate world or whatever, someone needs to give them a chance. And that door that was open for you, you need to let someone else walk through that door. Someone look at me and be like, are you just going to admit on camera that you discriminate? Yeah.
Other cultures do it though.
Yeah.
Massively. So I don't see why we couldn't.
That's why they call it the boys club. You know, like when you talk about like the white guys in the corporate world, they call it the big boys club. Like they create like an affinity or a fraternity where they just bring each other in.
Yeah.
It's just what it is, and I try my best to do it. So sometimes I'll look in a CV and I'll see a certain surname, I'm like, yep, hi, how you doing? Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, and there's certain surnames that I see and I don't even call them. Sounds pretty bad, but I think we need to, and I say we, as a collective, need to do that more. We need to look out for us.
But you do always hire the best people for the job, right? It wouldn't be a case of.
But sometimes I don't even get to know if the other person's the best person for the job.
Okay.
Because I haven't even rang them.
Okay. Yeah.
So
right,
my thing is that, and this is the thing though, I'm happy you mentioned that. If a certain demographic CV is just so exceptional that I can't skip past it, I'll ring them.
Okay. Yeah.
Or whereas somebody who might be 60 or 70%, and they're the demographic that I want, I might ring them. So, and this is the argument where they say sometimes we have to work twice as harder as other races to get that position. I get it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm seeing CVs, and if that CV is not exceptional, I'm still calling the demographic I want. And it's got to be so undeniable that, I can't do it. And then I'll say, hi, Paul, James. I've reluctantly rang you, but your CV's great. I really wanted Olufolusho, but I'm going to give you a chance. And I can own up and say that I've seen it being done. And I try to look out, and it's going to sound bad, look out for your own. What's your own?
It's whatever you feel like you are.
Yeah. And I like to give people a chance. I like to make sure that, because I pay pretty decent. I want you to get that money. I want you to get it, not that person, because somebody else will give that person a chance and maybe not give you a chance. So I'm giving you a chance. It sound bad. Do
you see that kindness that you kind of employ in your recruitment? Do you see it repaid in maybe the work rate or the?
For some of them, yes. Some of them, like some of the staff that I hire, I look after them very well because they take care of the business very well. That's why I can, and that's why I say if you've got good members of staff, look after them. I look after them very well, very well, very well, and I make sure the working environment is as comfortable for them as possible. I apologize when I need to. I don't talk down to them. I'm not that micromanaging boss. Just get on with what you need to get on with, and I leave them alone. But someone has to do it, and I think it's important that we look out for each other. Very important, because everyone else does it. You know, if someone look at me now and be like, "It's quite bad," but it's bad.
Why are you looking at me?
You're just smiling.
I'm just quiet.
The most funny thing, like Chiz's new first track, all this cooking you've been doing. It's interesting. I've been watching it. It's interesting.
I'm just trying to grow my network because I clocked onto something. Cooking videos get more engagement. What have I got? Tell them, please.
What have you got?
I've got the app.
Oh yeah, you got the app. Yeah,
there you go.
ChisoLifts.com.
A lot of people don't know what to do food wise. When it comes to training wise, what I realize, if I post a video of me benching 3 plates, someone's gonna see it and say, "No, I can't do that." Scroll past. They're not even gonna like it. But now
they can see your microwave rice and be like, "Oh, I can microwave rice."
There you go. So things that they didn't know how to do, they're learning. And now my page, when I put food, the women engage and message, "Oh, so you do meal plans?" I've been doing for over 2 years. Now you see,
because I think what it is, they're looking at it as innuendos and euphemism, because they can see you marinating thighs and marinating breasts. Because I can see you, because you're like, "Oh, all you got to do is season the thighs," and I can see him. He looks in the camera like that. "Oh, all you got to do is marinate the breasts," and you can see him you can see what he's doing. It's euphemism.
I hope you like this episode. Before you leave, please like, share, subscribe. Summer Love coming soon. Please, tickets online on Shubs. Keep supporting, and thank you. Bye.